Hi and welcome back. For those of you who know me, I am a new immigrant in Spain at this point. I moved to Spain just last year from Canada, so I'm an expat. And I want to do a video about the things that shocked me when I just moved into this country. Don't mind my settings. I am recording in another place today. My kids are home. It's summer. They're going to go and spend a couple of weeks with their grandparents in Croatia. But until then, it's super hot in Spain and in the month of July. So I try to keep them away from the sun, from the heat as much as possible. We do activities at home. We go to the pool, but not as much outside. I take them in the morning, mind you, when I go for my morning walks, I take them with their scooters, like around 8:30. But other than that, they're home. So, I am getting comfortable of being uncomfortable. And for me to be out of my comfort zone, to have to bring my equipment to a different place and to record in a different place, it's a bit nerve-wracking. But on the other hand, it's very helpful because I do intend to change a little bit the settings and record from different angles and record from different spaces. So this is definitely a lesson for me. And if you are a content creator, try it from time to time, change the settings, change the rooms, maybe record something outside. Okay, but this is not about that. Here are a couple of major things that really shocked me when I moved to this country. And please do see a video I did when I was moving and the struggle I was going through. It really was an unforgettable experience. And I always say to my friends that if I can move countries with my children, I can do anything. Literally, if you can make this big of a step, you can do anything. Nothing will stay in your way because this is one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest changes and moving out of your familiarity of spaces, friends, shopping, everything. Okay, so let's get right into it. For those of you who lived in North America, know that majority of people shop on the weekends. Well, here's news for you. Nothing is opened in Spain on a Sunday, unless it's a market, and it's a fantastic experience if you want to buy just some fruits and vegetables. Market is opened and it's a pleasure to go. 26, can I see? For like 2 bags of fruits and vegetables. And you can get everything in small portions, they cut it for you. But other than that, the majority of stores are just closed. Everything is closed. No one works in Spain on Sundays. Even Saturdays, some of them are closed, but Sundays are like a no-no. So at first it was kind of culture shock to me because we would use up all of our food. I would cook during the week with the idea, oh, you know what, in the morning, we're just gonna go and do some shopping on Sunday morning. Yeah, and then, so many stores we drove to and all of them were closed. So we learned our lesson. At this point, we shop on either almost the end of the week, like Friday, or on Monday. But if you move to Spain, keep in mind, 80% of the stores are closed, even the malls on Sunday. Another huge culture shock was the amount of holidays and days off they get. It's crazy. We do have a lot of holidays in Canada as well when I was there, but nothing compares to Spain. Every other week, there's something coming up, some kind of saint. Mind you, this is a pretty religious country and they always celebrate saints. There's always some kind of festivals. There's always something going on. There's something going on.
No, it's just British people in Spain. That's all right.
And thank God I have a calendar for my kids from school because there's a lot of days off. When I just drove my kids up, I didn't even think, oh my God, it's just a regular Wednesday. What can be on a Wednesday? Spaniards will find a holiday to celebrate. So keep that in mind. And that was another culture shock, that they do get a lot of time off and they do celebrate a lot of small minor holidays. Which brings me to another pretty important point, is that especially in the summer when the heat is pretty bad, everyone and the majority of places, banks, any kind of service, they close at noon, between 12 to 3, 11 to 2 for siestas. So that time is used to either go home and take a nap or take an extra long lunch or go for a walk on the beach. So that was pretty shocking to me because in Canada, we are such a hustlers. We're such workers. We use every minute of the day to work. And then in Spain, everyone is very much on a slowdown and people do take advantage to the fullest of these couple of hours and not being bothered at all. And then around 4, 5 sometimes, like the second shift begins up until 7, sometimes 8. But yeah, that was a pretty big culture shock for me. So one of the major things that I wasn't pleased with when I moved here, nothing will ever be perfect, is the amount of smokers. Europe is generally very popular for the amount of people who smoke, but in Spain, it's like a culture. Coming from Canada, where smoking is frowned upon and it's very much under control to some degree. There's like bus stations that you're not allowed to smoke next to, bars and restaurants, and people don't quite accept smokers per se. In Europe, everyone smokes. In Spain, everyone smokes. It doesn't matter if you're walking, if you're sitting at a park and your kids are playing, mothers smoke, fathers smoke, like everyone. It's pretty much like a culture thing. So I haven't done my research to see how it affects generally the population of Spain, the amount of smokers, but I've seen the exact same thing when I went to Croatia, when I went to Italy. People take it not as a bad habit, but as a sense of style almost. Everyone smokes and I'm gonna smoke as well. That's a big no-no for me. I'm not a smoker. I was at some point when I was growing up because everyone was, so I tried. But it's a big turn off for me when it comes to communicating with people. Smoking is a big no-no for me. And in this country, it's very much welcomed, unfortunately. Late dining hours. People are eating here so late, it's unbelievable. Again, it's because of the heat in the summer, but even in winter, I spent my first winter here. People are out and about until at least 10, and kids are out and about. In Canada, especially in wintertime, because, winters in Canada are pretty rough, everyone would be in bed. Like my kids would be asleep by 8:30. And here, parents are out with their kids until at least 10. For me, it was a huge shock. I was like, when are these kids waking up? Again, mind you, schools start a bit later, 9:30 for my kids. But still, for me, I have a very strict routine when it comes to my children. So I was very much in shock, and I'm still sticking to my North American schedule. My kids are still in bed by 9 because it's still daylight, so I cannot put them in bed earlier than that, but they are still going by a very strict schedule. So I didn't adjust it yet to this particular trait in Spain, but yeah, they stay up pretty late and they eat very late. They eat when the heat is down. No one eats much during the day, especially in the summer. Healthcare is free if you have an EU passport and you are a citizen of EU, but even insured healthcare, like I pay for my healthcare, and it's very well organized. It's very proactive. I am not used to that because in North America, since we had in Canada free healthcare, you had to wait for weeks to see a specialist. Like it was always like a hassle to go and see a doctor. Here, everything is done so fast. Whatever tests you want, whatever you need checked, whatever specialist you feel like you want to see, everything is pretty much catered to the public. It's not a problem. You don't need to wait for weeks. It's usually within a day or two maximum. It's very much digitalized. So there's an app on the phone which lets you pick a specialist, pick a day, pick a time. Usually there's always a lot of specialists and there's not a problem. There are not long waits and you can do any kind of testing. I wanted to do a hormonal testing and I wanted my daughter to do some blood work. There's never questions as to why do you need it or do you actually need it. No one's asking you. If you feel the need to have a particular test done, you can get it done. I love this about this country and I did a bunch of tests and I tested my kids and I'm very much impressed when it comes to that after living in Canada for so many years. Climate difference was another huge cultural shock because I lived in Canada for like over 20 years. Well, the humidity was pretty much there during during the summer, we had very humid days, but we didn't have like long summer days, long warm days. Here, even in the evening, especially when summer hits, you don't need to be wearing any kind of sweaters or anything. You really are comfortable in something very light and thin. The climate is definitely one of the biggest reasons why we moved here as a family. And after being in a cold weather for such a long time, it's such a pleasure to feel the heat on your body, but it gets pretty hot. Like, even like these days when the humidity is so high and it's super hot, I'm thinking, I miss Canadian summers. I like to feel a little bit of a breeze. I like to feel a little bit cold, just slightly, not up to -20. But yeah, this was a very big, and I'm still adjusting to it because this is technically my first full summer here with our family. And I would prefer to be in a little bit of a cooler place, but just during the summer, just during these 2-3 months when it's very hot. All the other months of the year, it's beautiful, it's manageable, it's so nice. You can go through winter just wearing a vest and a pair of running shoes. You don't need any kind of bulky, heavy-duty clothes. I remember in winter, this was the first winter we were here. By the time we were getting ready and coming outside, it was so cold in winter, we would like stay outside maybe for 20 minutes and then run back in the house. But the amount of clothes we would put on in order to go outside, it was just crazy. It's, you know, snow pants, boots and gloves and hats and neck warmers and underclothes. It was just crazy. So I really did enjoy winter here. It was really nice, very nice mild weather. The temperatures don't go below, I would say 15. A lot of people do still cold plunges. I did a couple of cold plunges before I got pregnant in January, which was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely climate was one of the big shocks for me as someone who lived in a cold country. Other than that, it's a beautiful country to live in. It's a beautiful country to raise your children. It's very much oriented and very much supported towards young families, kids, and there's playgrounds everywhere. Social life is very much on point here and very much prioritized, I would say, as opposed to working and doing everything else. So if you are in doubt, don't be. There's never going to be a perfect country for any one of us, but I definitely don't regret it, and I'm enjoying it, and my children are. So yeah, come to Spain. Thank you for watching. Please do leave me a comment, and I'll see you in my next video.